Hey, what's up everybody? Ultimate Reviews here and welcome back for another video. Now, in case you guys didn't know already, IFA Berlin is coming up very soon. The show's actually from the 4th of September to the 6th of September, and before that, there's a few days where basically companies have the opportunity to showcase their product, and on September the 2nd is actually Sony's big day. Now, we're hoping to see the Xperia Z5, possibly the Z5 Ultra, Z5 Plus. Who knows, Sony have lots of stuff hidden away, but on that day we're definitely expecting to see some pretty cool stuff. Having that in mind, Sony being Sony have decided to release a few smartphones in preparation to IFA Berlin. I'm not too sure why they would choose this time of the year, however, they released it, it's out there. And this is the Sony Xperia C5 Ultra, and alongside that they also released the Xperia M5. Both of these devices are mid-range smartphones, so they're not going to cost something ridiculously expensive like the same price as a flagship, but they are offering some really good, decent specs. So let's take a look. So starting off with the design of this smartphone, I'm actually really impressed with what Sony have done. They've kept things very simple and very traditional and changed only a few things. And probably the most visually pleasing aspect of this smartphone has to be those bezels. Honestly, they've included some super thin bezels. The screen to body ratio is just incredible. And another feature Sony have added on the C5 Ultra is a dedicated camera button, and that's actually quite unlike Sony. Normally it's just the power button and the volume rocker. However, I guess Sony decided to switch things up a little bit. That very big front-facing camera they've included on the front of the device. And besides that, you've got an LED flash, similar to the Moto X, which was released only a few days ago. And I will talk more about that later on. But around the device is more or less pretty much the same as any other. At the back, so I'm going to quickly run down through the specs before I move on to the camera. Now, within this device, you're going to find an octa-core 1.7 GHz MediaTek processor with 2 gigs of RAM. It's not the best processor, however, this is a mid-range device. Obviously, they're not going to include the Snapdragon 810 with 4 gigs of RAM. They're just trying to keep things nice and cheap, affordable. And to be honest, that processor would still hold up. You might see a little bit of lag, might. But on the whole, it would still hold up generally pretty well. 2 gigs of RAM, to be honest, is just enough to run all your apps and games, so it's not really a worry. Now, it comes with 16 gigs of inbuilt memory, and the most mind-blowing part for some people, they've also included a microSD card slot, which can actually hold a microSD card of up to 200 gigs. That's pretty big. Now, this device will be powered by pretty much the same battery as the one included in the Z3 Plus, so that's a 2930 milliamp battery. And Sony have promised that with a single charge and moderate usage, you will be able to get at least 2 days of just non-stop, well, not really non-stop, but constant usage. Obviously, it has to be moderate, so you can't really be doing too much for it to last those entire 2 days. But 2930, and from what we've seen on the Z3 Plus, is not too bad. It will definitely hold up to 2 days if you could use it moderately. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is a 6-inch phablet. It's an IPS LCD display, 1080p, and honestly, I'm more than happy with that. 1080p still looks incredible. Again, they're trying to keep things nice and cheap, so 2K wouldn't really be cheap. But 1080p is just fine. So finally, onto the camera. Now, this smartphone has been nicknamed the selfie snapper. So for that reason, Sony have basically tried to improve the lens rather than just including super high megapixels. They've really tried to focus on doing more with the lens. So the front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera are both 13 megapixels. However, there's a few subtle differences which actually make overall a big difference. So at the front of the camera, well, the front-facing camera, it's a 13 megapixel snapper with a 22mm focal length and an 88-degree field of view, which basically means it should be able to more or less capture more people in the selfie, and that makes so much sense when you go out to parties or just in general, you're taking a selfie with maybe 4 or 5 people. That wide angle lens will be able to pick up a lot of people. And then moving on to the back of the device, you've also got a 13 megapixel rear facing camera. This time it's got a 25mm focal length and an 80-degree field of view. So it's not as wide, but it's still pretty wide. So it's definitely going to be able to take some beautiful landscape shots, some really wide ones. It's going to look incredible. But yeah, that has been the Sony Xperia C5 Ultra. The smartphone is honestly incredible. It's honestly one of the best phablet mid-range devices I've seen out there, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it. It looks incredible. If you guys have enjoyed this video, as always, make sure to thumbs up. Really helps out a lot. And if you'd like to see more coverage, IFA Berlin is coming up very soon. We're expecting to see so many new smartphones over the next few weeks, so I will definitely bring you guys some coverage. Make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys all in the next video. Have a great day. Thank you guys all for the support, and I will catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.